The world celebrated Mother's Day yesterday. Viwe Dyasi from Absa has a few tips to help mothers grow and manage their finances. She joins me in studio now. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. What would you say is the one tip that could apply to the majority of mothers when it comes to their finances?
Thank you so much for having me. The main priority is to plan. So plan. So, you know, when you discover for the first time that you are expecting, it's an exciting period. And when you expect that bundle of joy, you want to make sure that you sustain that bundle of joy, not to be a grief in years to come. So that comes from planning. So you plan pre-giving birth, you plan after you've given birth, you plan for school, you plan post-school. So I think we should not budget as mothers on children leaving our households post-tertiary. Should make sure that you have a plan for all those life stages.
What if you don't have a plan? What if you're just freestyling and you haven't implemented these plans at any of these stages that you've spoken about? What do you do then?
You cannot, because, I mean, if you don't have the plan, how are you going to make sure you have basic things like nappies for the child when the child is born? So I know for a fact, for example, if a mother knows they're going to have a child, there's certain things that they plan for. So it starts with your appointments for the doctors, because that's medical bills that you will have to incur, and those medical bills need to be planned for. So perhaps one might not necessarily put it down as a plan per se. These are things that people just go on a daily basis and they do while they're expecting a child. But in essence, that is part of planning.
There was a survey by the South African Institute of Race Relations that says about 40% of women in South Africa are single mothers. Do we need to come up with a different type of plan to help them grow and manage their money in that position compared to someone who's in perhaps a dual income home?
Yes, slightly so, but for all mothers it's important to plan. So you have a married mother, you have a single mother, as you mentioned, you also have a divorced mother. So all these mothers have different streams of income, for example. We would say then for a single mother, because you do not have a backup plan, as into the partner of or your spouse or your partner or the father of the child perhaps coming in, and you don't have the surety of that happening. So based on that, we would say you need to perhaps look at having more life insurance, for example, because there is no other spouse or partner for that matter that's going to be coming into the play if something happens to you. So I think basically, most importantly, as a single mother and any other mother for that matter, because I do not want to exclude the other mothers because they do have different needs. But for a single mother, it's very important to make sure that you answer that question, that what happens if I am no longer around?
When you speak about as a single mother, perhaps you need to look at more life insurance, so that if something does happen to you, your children are taken care of. Is there a targeted range of products that are specifically focused at mothers who have different needs and different wants for spending on their children in the South African industry in general?
Absolutely there are, but mainly the products are per need. So for example, if you are looking at education for your children, so we've got, as financial services providers, a whole bouquet of products that will cater for that. So that is basically making sure that when your children go to school, they have funds to go to school. And then secondly, to answer the question that I mentioned earlier on, what happens when you are no longer able to bringing the income at home, or perhaps you have a severe illness, or you have a disability, or you not there in the form of passing away, what happens then? Financial services providers, once again, we have products that cater for that. That would come in a form of a comprehensive life cover, which would make sure that your income is protected and your disability, if you become disability, you are also protected. If you happen to have a severe illness, that also is protected. But mainly just a life policy that will cater for all of those things.
Plan. Viwe Dyasi from Absa, thanks so much for your time. It's time for a short break. I'll have more international business news for you when we come back. Please stay with us.